Evolution MX offers a complete accounting solution together with fully integrated job costing or contract management specifically for the construction industry. Contracts form the basis of the system and can be accessed to show the information related to each job that's in progress. Using contract performance, part of the analytics toolbox that's available to you, can be used to demonstrate the information that you want to see in the format that you want to see it. This is listing me all of my jobs, and I can easily highlight and see in green, for example, the jobs that are making me money, because I can use the conditional formatting rules to apply whatever visual concept to the system. Further down, I've got in red a job that's over budget. If I scroll a little further down, you'll be able to see in orange a job that's nearly over budget. So you've got the flexibility to decide how the information is presented and how it's highlighted. The information that's included on the report can be at your decision as well. So you've got the option here to choose fields to be able to say exactly what you want to have on this particular report. Now I've chosen for there to be a sum cost per individual job, alongside which I've got budget values. Now those budget values can either be manually entered into the system, or more likely you can use an import tool, and that can import budgets in a summary or detailed version, whether they sit in Excel or whether they've been exported from any of the leading estimating systems. Alongside that, I've got my outstanding order value, which would be the committed costs raised on the system by virtue of material and subcontractor orders. So consider those in addition to your actual costs to give you your total committed visibility. So that's that early visibility of the costs that are going to hit the contract at some point in the future. You can also perform your own maths in reports like this. So rather than having to export information to Excel and then provide formula, you can do that within the report design yourself by using your own custom fields. The information in summary form is available for you to access in more detail simply by drilling down on the figure of your choice. So if I were to drill down on the actual cost for this selected contract, I'd be able to see a more detailed view, albeit at summary level, of the different cost head groups that you've chosen to use. Now, these don't have to be the group headings that are being shown here. It's your choice as to what they may be. Further than that, if you choose to drill into the materials, for example, you'll be able to see a more detailed cost head summary for the different cost codes or cost heads that you've chosen to use. And you can then expand upon any one of those to see the individual transactions that have affected that code on that particular contract. Behind each of transactions, there will be images that are being captured by the system, either by you receiving them in as purchase ledger or subcontractor invoices, or you exporting them out as sales transactions to support sales invoices or remittance advices, for example. As well as analytics, which gives you the flexibility to compile your own reports, you've also got dashboards throughout Evolution MX. Now, these may be within each of the individual ledgers, or you can choose the content of each individual dashboard. So it can be a mixture of different ledgers. They can present themselves in summary figure form or graphical representations with drill down capabilities to your required underlying data. So rather than having to go into a supplier inquiry, for example, you can easily access the information on a particular supplier, showing the outstanding transactions in detail and also being able to retrieve images. Dashboards, as I say, are throughout the system, so you could access them in the other modules as well, providing you not only statistical or financial information, but also timely reminders. So for my subcontractors, for example, I've got a clear indication that I've got 15 subbies whose insurance is due to expire or has expired within the next month. Click into that tile and you'll be given information about those subcontractors. You can easily add additional information to that. All of the fields available as data are in clear English. You can then just select the additional fields that you want and then save that as your preferred reporting choice. Now, invoices received by you from your suppliers or your subcontractors can easily be brought into the system. Using the invoice register functionality within inside the purchase ledger and the subcontractors, we have got dashboards that can assist with the processing of these. So a dashboard in this case is going to be a bit of a heads up to the processing clerk as to which invoices have been processed, which ones are in the process of being dealt with, and maybe which ones are on query, for example. Now, as an option, you have AI or automated invoice processing available to you. which can do a lot of the mundane work in terms of entering of documents. So I could receive via email the supplier and subcontractor invoices, and then let automated invoicing take over and populate as much of the data as it can. Now I've had 3 invoices received, and I'm ready to either accept what the automated invoicing has done or to interact with it and maybe override some of the decisions it's made. So I've chosen for invoices received to be highlighted as a to be verified status. That means basically that the invoice register has done what it can in terms of establishing what the data needs to be. And you can see the right-hand panel on this particular screen has been populated by the system. So I've had no involvement in putting that information in there. If I click into particular fields, you'll see where the system has found that information. And if you're not happy with where it's found it and you need to redirect it, this is where the to be verified status is beneficial. And we wouldn't suggest necessarily that you have to verify every single invoice. If the system is capable of doing everything that you need it to do and accurately reflecting the invoice date, values, and so forth, then there's no necessarily any need for you to get involved any further. Now, in this case, I have matched also, or found that the invoice has matched to a outstanding purchase order. So I can see where that's been found in the system, highlighting the 3 or 4 lines that were on the purchase order that have now been represented by the invoice. And an occasion such as this, where everything balances, there's nothing really that the operator needs to do. There is always the option for them to place on query, which means you could send an email query out to somebody who maybe needs to give some more input as to how the invoice is going to be processed. You can also place invoices through workflow, which means very similar to the query function, you have the option of them being approved before they hit the ledger. And you can choose your own workflow rules. So whether it's something you need to select at the time or whether you want the system to automatically work out that it needs to go to a particular contract manager because of the contract that's been involved. So as I say, in a situation like this, there's nothing more for me to do. I didn't need to get involved in it, but this is just to show you how the system has populated it for you. You can choose to add sticky notes wherever you want to on the system, maybe just to highlight that everything was okay on this particular occasion. Then as and when you submit, that will either follow the workflow route of your choosing, or it will hit the ledger directly and be available for inquiry through the bought ledger, the general ledger, or through the contract ledger. And I could see that information now through the contract ledger, for example, accessing a particular contract from my list of contracts, and being able to see how this particular contract is performing. So a summary of the costs is being shown in the top right there. If I were to click into that, I'll be able to expand down through the individual cost heads to be able to see individual transactional information that's been affected. There's the invoice I just posted a few minutes ago. So I could click on the paperclip icon to retrieve the image, which is being shown there, along with the sticky note that I chose to add to it. And if you are using sticky notes on multiple occasions, as you hover over the note, you'll see it gives you an indication of the user that made the note and the date and time. So that dashboard on the contract basis allows you to get into the transactional information. It also allows you to get into full documents that are being stored with that contract. So these will automatically be updated by virtue of processing elsewhere in the system, whether it's purchase orders, whether it's sales invoices, whether it's other documents as well, maybe that you want to include. So on an ad hoc basis, you could choose to include risk assessments, method statements, any site forms really, with a simple drag and drop to update them into Evolution MX. Or you could consider a more functional forms module, which allows for template or blank forms to be presented to users on a mobile basis through a tablet, for example, where they can fill in the information, take photographs, signatures, and so forth, and then also use the data collected for important reporting or analytics. Now, Evolution MX is scalable, so you are able to select the number of users that you want to have access to it, also the number of modules and companies that are relevant, either using it on a dashboard base, a desktop basis, as I've got here, or on a mobile basis. So we have a mobile app which is available for things like timesheet recording, purchase order entry, goods received, and also works orders management for service engineers. Now, there's an awful lot more to Evolution MX to show you. Should you wish to see anything more on a one-to-one basis, we'd be delighted to entertain your requirements and show them to you on a one-to-one basis.